and yet you are reluctant to let aid workers into your country. What is the justification for that?
When we have enough food, why do we need someone to feed us?
Because 2/3 of your population are starving.
Why do people want to spoon feed us when we have enough food?
But then how come 2/3 of the population are not getting that food?
I mean, then again, how can you possibly imagine and say, I am hungry when I'm not hungry? Why do you want to believe that? Why do you want to believe people are hungry and people are in need of your support? Why do you want to believe that? That's a very, very sad state of mind for people who think that they can come and feed people when they're not even in need of feeding. Go and feed the people of the victims of Katrina.
So there's no food or aid problem?
We don't need any food. We can feed ourselves.
We don't need any food. We can feed ourselves. That is how a leader, if you want to know what a leader is, that is how a leader speaks. You speak with intelligence. Look, the president of Eritrea is one of the best presidents that we had for a very long time in the continent of Africa. And then we must give him that due respect as he deserves it. As a leader, his level of intelligence, his confidence when he met these colonial criminals is nothing to match with. And then we must give him that due respect as he deserves it. This is the kind of leaders we want in the continent of Africa. Like, why do you want to feed us? We are not begging you for food. Why are you always making it look like we are a burden on you? Why? We said we don't need your food. Look, if you really want to understand the philosophy of the president of Eritrea, go and read the book written by our Queen Mother, Dr. Dambisa Moyo of Zambia, The Dead Aid. And then you will understand what or where the president of Eritrea is coming from. All their so-called aid, their food aid, their whatever they are giving to the continent of Africa is killing the continent of Africa. So if you really want to be a sovereign country, your sovereignty is not going to come through their so-called democracy or aid. Your sovereignty is going to come from exactly what the president of Eritrea is doing. And then we must applaud the president of Eritrea for what he's doing for our continent. He is not only doing it for the people of Eritrea, but he is doing it for the continent of Africa. It is a model that other African leaders must learn from. And I want to show you this video where this man is explaining exactly what the president of Eritrea is doing. Let's go watch it, come back and talk about it. But before we do that, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, One Africa Mission. We are on a mission to free the continent of the continent of Africa and bring back our dignity. And that is exactly what the president of Eritrea is doing. So please, if you appreciate what we are doing, then don't hesitate to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, the #1 Africa Mission. We are on a mission until we kick Satan out of the continent of Africa. Let's listen to this video, come back and talk about it.
Eritrea managed to retain food security amidst the drought, amidst the climate change conditions.
Well, Eritrea, the president of Eritrea is a very far-sighted guy, quite brilliant. And he back in 2003, 2004, Eritrea had the first 2-year drought in history, back to back. And then in 2008, 2009, we were hammered again with a 2-year drought. So the president took most of Eritrea's resources and put them into water and soil conservation, and has constructed 9 massive dams and over 700 smaller dams to store water so they can begin irrigating and not dependent upon rainfall for their very survival. So Eritrea has been able to overcome this rainfall dependence and now is basically food self-sufficient, which is what Eritrea is pushing Ethiopia and the rest of the Horn of Africa to start doing as well.
Wait, but so you're saying all the aid agencies, all the NGOs, all the people across the global south who administer regions where there is grave food insecurity, let alone places like Yemen, the world's worst humanitarian crisis, which of course is being bombed by US-UK arms, no one understands that there is a relatively, I'm not saying it's easy, I think you said the hard work of the Eritrean people are responsible. Some would say it's coercion. There is an answer to this that is not some kind of magic. And it's Africa's poor for a reason, not because it's Africa.
That's right. They don't want Africa to be independent and self-sufficient. They want Africa to be beggars. They want to be...
Now, do you understand why they don't want to give the president of Eritrea publicity. Now, do you understand why they don't want leaders like the president of Eritrea? Because the model that he's coming out with, look, he has been able to build 9 big irrigation dams in Eritrea. If Eritrea can do it, then Ghana can do it. If Eritrea can do it, then Nigeria can do it. If Eritrea can do it, then Botswana can do it. If Eritrea can do it, then Egypt can do it. If Eritrea can do it, Eritrea is a model that if these colonial criminals give the president of Eritrea the freedom to do what he is doing, then the continent of Africa will be free from these people. And they don't like it. So when you see them talking about, oh, the president of Eritrea is a dictator, the president of Eritrea is what? I am telling you, the man is standing for his people. That is why they don't like him. He is not a dictator. What is dictatorship about? Look, these same people cannot say that about China. These same people are not saying that about Saudi Arabia. The other day, the president of America was in Saudi Arabia, in Qatar, begging for investment. These are people who doesn't believe in democracy. Yet the Americans have good relationship, or they want to have good relationship with them. But when it comes to Africa, when we have leaders like the president of Eritrea, whom I love so much, when he's doing the same thing, then they are calling him a dictator because they want to introduce democracy. And under their so-called democracy, then they will be able to control you and be taking your resources for free. The president of Eritrea say, I don't want that. I want to have my sovereignty. My sovereignty is not going to come from your so-called democracy. My sovereignty is going to come from feeding my people. If we can feed our people, then they will start to think and they will start to do things right. But if we continue coming to you to beg, then for how long are we going to be begging you for food? When, as a matter of fact, we are coming from the continent that have almost 65 to 70% of the world arable land. Can you imagine a continent like Africa will be going to beg Ukraine, Ukraine that is in war with Russia? We are begging them to give us food. Russia that is in war with Ukraine and that is in sanctions with the rest of the world, we are, as African people, going to beg them. For how long are we going to be begging? And that is exactly what the president of Eritrea is asking. That is the question that he's asking. And this is what we want as children of Africa. These are the kind of leaders we want in the continent of Africa. Leaders who are not begging. We are not beggars. We don't want to be beggars. We don't want children, future generation of Africa, to be begging, go around begging. Why? For how long? I am telling you, the president of Eritrea, we love you. We love what you are doing. We don't care about what the Western colonial criminals and their media is saying. We don't care about what they are saying about you. What you are doing is what we want. We are proud of you. It's exactly what Thomas Sankara started in Burkina Faso. And as we speak today, Burkina Faso is the country that is still feeding Ghana when it comes to vegetables. Tomatoes is from Burkina Faso. Ghanaians are getting their tomatoes from Burkina Faso. Ghana, a country that should be food sufficient, Burkina Faso is the country that is giving them vegetables. Why? Because Thomas Sankara envisioned what the president of Eritrea is doing today. Thomas Sankara envisioned that 30, 40 years ago. And as we speak today, Burkina Faso is still benefiting from the vision of Thomas Sankara. So if the president of Eritrea is doing the same thing, then why can't we be proud of the president of Eritrea? The only thing I want is that, Mr. President, please open up Eritrea for some of us, because we want to visit Eritrea. The other day, we wanted to come to Eritrea. That was a year or two ago. When we wanted to apply for the visa, it was difficult because some of our people were coming from West Africa, Ghana to be specific, and it was difficult for them to get visa because we don't have an embassy in Ghana. We were told that the only place that we can get a visa is all of them to travel to Nigeria to get a visa from Nigeria, which is very unfortunate. Your country is a model that we want as African people. We want to come and learn. Please open up the country of Eritrea for some of us. And to all my friends from Eritrea, we salute you. And please, if you can help us get to Eritrea, we will be much appreciated. To the president of Eritrea, today is the Eritrea independent. We celebrate your independence with you. The kind of independence that you are celebrating is what Africa wants: sovereignty, freedom from the colonial criminals, and it's exactly what you are doing. Salute to the president of Eritrea.
No one who is negative wants to spoil what we are doing for ourselves in order to unite Africa. We belong to this continent. We don't mind having and bearing sanctions banning us from Europe. We are not Europeans. We have not asked for any inch of Europe or any square inch of that territory. So, Blair, keep your England and let me keep my Zimbabwe.